one of the things that you can do when you want to pivot into something else and you don't really know exactly what it is that you want to do, audit your skills. Really just think about what are some of the things that come easy to you? What are the things that people are always coming to you for? Are you really good at project management? Are you really good at managing teams? Starting to audit your skills and really think for yourself, what are the things that make up my unique top skill set? What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of the 9 to Fly podcast. I am your host, Sania Elamine of Flynanced, and a couple weeks ago, I asked you, my viewers, to just flood me with questions for the Hottie Hotline, my favorite segment on the show. And we had so many questions that this is part 2 of me answering your most burning questions around the job search and just leveling up in your 9 to 5 career. So if you have a question for me that you didn't get a chance to ask me earlier, check out my show notes to send me a voice message or a text, and I just might answer your question on a future episode of 9 to Fly. And before I forget, don't forget to follow and subscribe to 9 to Fly across all platforms at 9 to Fly Pod on Instagram, TikTok, and of course on YouTube. So I have a couple good questions that I know you will all really appreciate, and they're all around job searching. So without further ado, I'm gonna just dive right on in. So the first question, this viewer said, I have lots of customer service experience, currently in a new field of security, but I don't have a college degree. Any tips or sites I could possibly check out? So I love this question. So, I think in general, I think there's a big misconception that you have to have a college degree in order to pivot, in order to grow your 9 to 5 salary, and that's just not true. Now, for this person, I don't really know exactly what type of job function they have within security, but I would definitely recommend that they look into jobs on usajobs.gov. The federal government has tons of jobs available, especially in security, cybersecurity, and other security-based fields, and it can be a really lucrative career even for someone without a traditional college degree. So looking on usajobs.gov would be a great site to look at. Some of my favorite jobs for remote tech jobs that you can find would be remote.co, remote.co, OTTA, OTTA, We Work Remotely, digital nomads working remotely. And one of my other favorite sites that you should check out is actually Y Combinator. So if you are someone who has like a lot of customer service experience, you're working in a new field, you don't have a college degree, you actually might want to consider even looking into working at a startup. So looking on a site like Y Combinator provides you with more visibility into startups that are hiring, that are looking for people. And when it comes to startups, especially like B-series startups, they have a good amount of money. They have other employees. You won't necessarily be employee number one. They usually don't have as many stringent requirements as like your traditional corporate or tech companies because they're really just looking to hire. They're looking for the right skills, not necessarily fancy degrees. So again, those would be my top sites that you should check out. I also think that a creator that you should look into online, Simone Bees, would be someone that you should look into. Her handle is, I think it's Bees SLS, BEEZSLS. Look into her content as well because she talks a lot about cybersecurity, security-based jobs, what certificates you would need if you want to grow your security or GovTech career. I would recommend that you check her content out, and hopefully that could help you pivot to the next job. So I hope that helps. All right, so this next question, I have a couple of years of professional experience, specifically in policy roles. I want to pivot away from research and theory-heavy government-centered work to do something in the private sector that pays more. I, however, don't know how to go about it. I don't even know what keywords to search to find more of what I'm looking for, especially because I don't really fully know what I'm looking for. So I love this question as well. And even if you're not somebody who works in government or works in policy, you may be wondering, well, what else can I do with the skills that I already have? First, I want to plug that this person would be a perfect candidate for my 6-figure skills masterclass. But if you are listening to this, I think one of the things that you can do when you want to pivot into something else and you don't really know exactly what it is that you want to do is you first need to to audit your skills. And what I mean by that is you are simply just going to set a timer and you're going to give yourself 15 or so minutes to really just think about what are some of the things that come easy to you? What are your innate skills? What are the things that people are always coming to you for? What are those skills that come easy to you? And what are the skills that you've recently gained, right? So for me, you can see that I'm out here with a podcast. I'm a creator online. Public speaking, ideation, more creative type work comes really easy to me. I'm really good at it. And those are also skills that people come to me for, right? So for you, doing a skills audit, really starting to think about what are those skills that come to you easy, even within your role that's in more policy. Are you really good at project management? Are you really good at, managing teams? Are you really good at strategy? Are you really good at planning? Starting to audit your skills and really think for yourself, what are the things that make up my unique top skill set? That's going to be number one. Number two, I really recommend that you start using AI to speed up your search, right? So you can use ChatGPT, for example, to literally tell you, based on your top skills and your experience, what other jobs might be out there relevant for you. So a great prompt that you can use on ChatGPT is to say, I have X number of years experience in blank. My top skills are blank. Give me 5 to 10 job titles that best align with my seniority and level of experience, and include your skills. And then let ChatGPT do the work of trying to connect your skills to other job titles, other keywords. And I think that will give you some inspiration to be able to then take those keywords or take those job titles and start to search on LinkedIn, Indeed, Monster, or whatever your favorite job board is, and start to see who's hiring for the skills that you have. That, in an essence, is what I teach inside Six Figure Skills Masterclass. That's, in an essence, what I think anyone should do if they want to pivot out of the work that they've always done and use the skills that they have to pivot into something that will pay them more. So I hope that helps. All right, so I got one more question. I have been a traveling seasonal server for the past several years. I've gotten to live on beautiful islands and in interesting states. I get to work and meet with people from all around the world and travel in between seasons. Okay, this sounds like an amazing job. I also enjoy connecting with people. However, all of this is in person and requires virtually no tech skills. I'm also now considered, quote, mature by my peers, although I am, quote, young at heart. My question is, how on earth would this transfer to a lucrative online position that would be just as rewarding? So here's the thing with this question. I love this question. And I gotta say again, that I think this job, traveling seasonal server, it sounds very lit. I mean, being able to travel, being able to meet cool people, being able to just have a really rewarding career that gives you that flexibility, that seasonality, I think is super cool. Now, here's the thing. I will definitely say that, this idea of finding a job that's going to be as rewarding as the work that you've been doing for several years that you obviously really enjoy, I don't know if that's like the right piece of comparison, right? Now, I could tell you all types of lucrative jobs you could do online, that you could pivot the skills that you already have. It doesn't matter that you are mature or whatever. But I think this piece about rewarding is a little bit more difficult for me to kind of gauge for you, right? I think the pieces that it's clear to me that you really enjoy about your seasonal job is that you get to travel. You've gotten to live and travel to beautiful places. You get to interact with people. You get to build relationships. And it sounds like that's something that you're really good at. Now, making that shift to then doing something that's fully remote may not give you that same dopamine response that you're kind of used to, being able to interact with people and get to just be in beautiful places, meeting beautiful people, talking to beautiful people. You kind of get what I'm saying? So I would caution you to not think that a fully remote job is going to totally be able to kind of give you that rewarding people first aspect that you've gotten out of this job. Now, something that you might want to consider is if you could learn a new skill, what would that skill be, right? You may not necessarily be able to totally take what you're doing as a server and make it into a fully lucrative online position, but there might be other skills out there that you might want to learn. Maybe because you're so good at working with people and making that customer service, maybe digital marketing might be a skill that you might want to learn. And maybe doing like a Coursera course on digital marketing might be a good way for you to build those skills and be able to connect what you do as a server to now a totally new skill set that is more technical and opens you up to more digital roles. right? Maybe sales, right? You're really good at making connections with people. Maybe online sales marketing also might be a skill set that you might want to learn, where again, you're able to connect the piece that you're really good at, which is making those connections with people, and now turn that into a lucrative skill set. So my advice to this viewer would be to think about, what is that one or two skill that you might want to learn, that you could upskill, that you could learn either on Coursera or on another low-cost platform that will open you up to more career opportunities. And my second point is going to be really just think about, what is the most rewarding part of your job? Because I think that it sounds to me that the most rewarding parts of the job that you do are things that aren't going to be able to be replicated necessarily in a fully remote job. So that's just something to keep in mind, so that you are not chasing, kind of an unrealistic ideal. I hope that helps. Thank you so much for these amazing questions. I also had some follow-ups that I wanted to read for you of folks whose questions I answered in an earlier episode, just to kind of give you a sense of kind of like what they've been up to, since I kind of gave them some advice on an earlier episode. So if you remember back to our episode where I answered a bunch of questions, there was one question I had answered where someone was applying for a job and they just started to get like red flags from the interview process, just weird red flags from the interview process. Well, here's what that viewer said. They said, "Thanks so much for answering my question, Sania. I think I'm going to follow my gut and your advice and turn down the position that I mentioned in my first question. I got offered $60,000, but I'll be working towards something else that also better aligns with my beliefs, since I discovered the company won't align with my beliefs either. Thank you for being the extra push that I needed." So I am really glad to hear that this viewer decided not to move forward with the company that was kind of giving them some like red flags or weird feelings. And it sounds like they discovered that the company's values don't even align with their own values. So to avoid them getting into a situation where they're now working for a company whose values might totally differ from what they believe in, I really appreciate that they decided to walk away from that position and focus on something that's more valued aligned. So I'm very proud of you, viewer, and good luck with your search. Okay, I got another follow-up as well. So there was another question that I answered earlier where a viewer was asking, I'm a teacher, I want to pivot. What are some skills that I could learn? Here is what they said. "Hey, I just wanted to say thank you for answering my question. I'm currently enrolled in a cybersecurity program, and I needed a confirmation on whether I should continue on this path or not. So when you made your list of optional career tracks and that was on it, I knew I should remain. I really enjoy the podcast and plan to continue listening and watching. Thank you again." That makes me so happy. I'm so glad to hear that you are going to stick with learning an in-demand skill, because cybersecurity is absolutely booming and there are so many companies that are looking for qualified candidates like you. So I am so glad that I was able to give you that confirmation that you are on the right track and that you are getting closer to the career, salary, and lifestyle that you want. So I'm just so glad to hear that it's working out for you. And thank you all for tuning in, for giving me such amazing questions. It's been such a treat to be able to answer your questions live on 9 to Fly, throughout the podcast, and really just kind of give you that inspiration, that guidance, and that advice that you're looking for. So until next time, I'll catch you on another episode of 9 to Fly, and we'll see you soon. Bye.